What's up, everybody? We're back. We're live this week. It's Comic Conversation. That's right. We're back with some topics and some fun times. It's Thursday. We always love our Thursday. We got our 3 of the 4 Norsemen of Thursday here. Edwin will be along shortly. He's running a little bit behind, but we do have some cool topics for you tonight, as we normally do. We're talk, of course, about Captain Marvel. She's all over the news, so we're gonna cover that. DC and Marvel Solicits came out, and there was a couple interesting things on there, so we're going to touch on that, namely DCeased and Savage Avengers. I'll get your take on those. Some interesting things there, and it could go either way, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, we'll go over some Star Wars news, some CGC news. We're going to include CBSI on this conversation, so that's one of the first times we've really kind of dived into one of their things, so that'll be interesting. And I want to ask you guys, have you ever heard of Rock Comics? We'll get into that. That's just a lead. We Iron Galactus here and Daniel Ibarra as well. So nice to have you guys here. They were here before we were. So nice that they're here. Jason Smith, no, this is actually live this week. If you are listening to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff, thank you for listening and streaming. We are exclusively live vidcast style with our faces and sometimes mine on YouTube, only 8:30 Thursdays. So there we go. I see you, Perry Comics, as well. Thanks for joining us. So cool. But I know that Justin was just busy, perhaps today, making a little video, right?
Yeah. Finally,
saw that notification come up. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, I need to do something. I got my my mic working again, so should be smooth sailing. Hopefully here, just start churning them out again. Like I said, I still got that one last week that I recorded. I still got to go through all those books again, but man, that one just so disappointing. But yeah, I was happy to get a new video up, and we'll have some more stuff coming up this week also.
Awesome. Did you repair your old mic, or did you end up picking up a new one?
I was able to fix the old one.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Yeah, so craziness how that works. I mean, I was ready to buy a new one, but I was like, might as well just try a couple more things first. You know?
Right. If it's broken, what's the worst that's going to happen, right? It stays broken. Yeah.
It's still going to be the same.
so, yeah.
Worked out good.
Yeah. So right after we're done here, and you guys should do this too, I recommend it, check out his video. It's up there.
That's right.
Live.
It's a new haul. There's back issues, trades, an omnibus. There's everything in that one video. It's crazy.
Oh, a mix. Big old mix. Sleepy Reader. I see a Sleepy Reader. And collecting and hobbies. That's a cool name. Yeah, live is good. Yeah, we like live. So we did a premiere last week because we were all away for Valentine's Day. So we figured we didn't want to miss a week. A lot of good stuff to talk about. And some of y'all who maybe didn't go out for Valentine's Day, and then you got something to do. So that's why we did that. And it was a pretty good turnout. It was fun having the premiere, so we may do that in the future as well. That's not off the table, but we do prefer live. So Chris, what's going on with you? How have you been?
Just same old, just chilling, working, just getting all that together, and just really not much else other than just work and everything else, and just trying to find some time to get back into making these videos and things. But now just kind of having some fun and getting on and checking out other people's videos and stuff. So I will say that much. For as much as I've been really trying to get back into it and finding the time for it, I've been checking out a lot of really good videos out there, and really enjoying what I'm seeing. So, it's really cool for that. And trust me, I'm using it as inspiration to get me going again. So there'll be some stuff up soon. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of content going out. Live shows every week. Shout out to Discovery Bay Comics, who's basically a TV guide for the community. He puts up everything, and he's been including our show as well on that. When it's appropriate, when it comes up. So shout out to him. That takes a lot of work and diligence to do that daily. So
he's your like YouTube, your comic book YouTube agenda.
That's right. That's right. This is what your day looks like. Enjoy. Right. Yeah. So okay, cool. So I guess we can jump right into the first topic, the big thing, of course, that everybody's talking about, or nearly everybody. Whether you like it or you don't, you're talking about Captain Marvel. We're very close to the release date for that. So I know we normally do like box office predictions. We could definitely do that. Wait for maybe some more people to get in. But if you're listening to this later, drop a comment, whether it's here or on any of our social media, I guess, right? With your prediction, we'll add it to the list. We do like fun, like, giveaways, or if not, you get a cool no prize if you get closest. So, a couple things there was obviously comes out on the 8th. Next stop after that is Endgame, Avengers Endgame, right? Outside of us, I don't think a whole lot of people have familiarity with Captain Marvel. So that's got that unknown factor to it, but the curiosity factor that, obviously most people are going to be aware of Endgame and have seen Infinity War. I mean, it didn't make, the billions it did. There's a pen. Without people knowing what it is. So there's that. A lot of anticipation, I would say, despite her being unknown. I was looking at some figures, and it said that pre-sale tickets for Captain Marvel have outpaced Wonder Woman, which came out in 2017. It's the second highest superhero origin film for pre-sale, just behind Black Panther, which obviously was another huge movie. So the actual predictions, when you get to tracking, it's very rough, especially when you get like far out. So initially they were thinking like 180 million or so for domestic opening weekend box office. It dropped down to like 120. Some people are sitting around there, but the most common figure that you're going to be hearing is about $100 million for opening weekend box office, which is still a massive amount of money. But that's just kind of it. It's just the estimates have been tightened up. I don't think it's directly related to the negative review bombing and all this stuff. All these things that you hear about. The how her suit fits and how she smiles and all this stuff. So I'm sure. So with critics, normally it's about, I'd say, 10% maximum effect that they can have on gross, whether it's positive or negative. So when you're talking about $100 million, that's not a whole lot of impact there. So it's going to be right around that range, I would say. So we have social media reactions that just came out, right? Mm-hmm. There's that embargo that lists first, where she can say a couple things for it, like really brief things. And then the full embargo lifts on the 5th when I'll be seeing the movie. And that's just 3 days prior to the 8th, right? So it's just a couple days before that. Normally I would say that's because the studio is not confident in the film. We've said that before. I said that for Venom, actually. They weren't quite sure if it would be good or not. It ended up being good. But I think for this movie, it's not a case of that. I think it's a case of them holding the plot close to their chest. And there's some spoilers and some major things that play into Endgame that they want to keep, close and not get out there, So the fact that it's so close to the actual wide release date, I don't think that should be as much of a factor as it normally would in terms of, how good or bad it will be. So with all that being said, what do you think it'll come in at for that first weekend?
First weekend, Jesus. It's gonna do big numbers, absolutely. I think that people are getting kind of wise to that whole. That whole blitz of like just negative. Oh, we're gonna say it's bad no matter what. Is people need to get off of that. Like as far as everybody, just wanting to trash something that they just decide is not gonna be cool for them at the moment in time. It's like whatever, dude. Like I think that honestly, I would say might be even conservative, but I say first weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if it did 200 million. Wow. I crushed 200 million.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Well, we're saying wow, but look at the estimate for Venom. We were talking about like 60 million for that weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
like everybody's looking at it because of the fact that and the reason I say that too is because you have you have the whole thing with you know, just how it's going to lead into potential, you know, whatever lead-ins are going to be into Endgame. People are going to people are going to see it just because
that's my thing is like, if we get an end credit scene, mid credit scene, whatever, is that going to be the tie-in to her like getting the page from Fury or whatever? It's like, are they going to go ahead and do it there so that we don't have to worry about that for actual Endgame?
Right. To answer collecting hobbies, the budget was 152 million. That includes production and P&A.
I mean, and as far as it all looks, I mean, that's what the crazy part was. Is like, all right, 152 million isn't that big of a budget when you think about. I mean, in terms of Marvel movies, in terms of when they've gone that route with it, it's just like I really think that they're gonna because and not to say only because of the tie-in, that's why it's gonna do well. Is because I think it's gonna do well. But that tie-in is what's really going to drive people into the theaters, along with the fact that they're going to, suppose we're being promised the most powerful, hero that's ever been in a Marvel movie. So that's something else that people are going to want to see. Like people are going to want to see, what Captain Marvel's all about in this movie, or at least get the big introduction to so this is what this is just a fraction of what she can do. I can't wait to see how she takes on Thanos or whatever is going to happen in Endgame. I want to see what happens, just when they unleash a powerhouse into that universe.
Right. And this is really a true 4-quadrant movie. I mean, normally, they typically are being PG-13, but the female factor there, especially with the way Brie Larson's pushing some of her marketing, personally, I think that's really going to draw much more of the female crowd than maybe typically would go, Of course, you got your Hemsworths and stuff like that, but you know what I mean?
I think there's also going to be a large female presence under 13. There's been like a lot of friends with little girls and things like that. They're all pumped about this movie. And I'm like, how do you even know what this is? So I don't know. It could do very, very well. So we will see. I mean, like I said, I don't think there's a ton of competition that weekend or anything that'll really stand up to it at all. And I mean, barring like some weather disaster in the Northeast or something like that, probably gonna make a ton of money.
Could you imagine like a humongous blizzard just like hits the East Coast? Just like, nobody went to see it. We're just busy shoveling.
Sleepy Reader, shout out to you, man. He says dads love to have a movie they enjoy with their daughters. That's a great point.
I mean, I just think about it in terms of, it's definitely something different. It's Marvel. I mean, we've all said it too. Marvel's kind of late to the game, getting a female lead as the main character of a movie. But
just imagine how upset Scarlett Johansson is about this.
Oh yeah, right. That is true. She's got to be like, seriously, all this time, and
it could have been better.
I'm coming out after.
Yeah. I think her movie is going to be really good. And that will be a movie that they don't need a whole lot of budget for, right? She's not really like a powered hero. She's just,
like most of that budget would be in just training the people to make
it'll be like
incredible
Black Widow, Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
So
you get a bunch of really skilled martial artists, and you throw the big budget behind the explosions, and that'll be it.
Like female James Bond. However you want to do it. Either way you could go, it'd be
exactly. But you don't need like energy blast CGI or like crazy shield tag or Stark tag. You know what I mean? This is like
you don't need Cap or Thor to show up to blow the budget of the film for a appearance. You know what I'm saying?
Just throw in Hawkeye and we'll be good.
Yeah, exactly.
And give them really standard arrows, nothing too crazy. Just like just something that is like, all right, no effects for these arrows. You just take it. Your objective is just to kill things. That's it. Kill and subdue. That's all you do.
That's right. Okay, so throw some numbers at me. Chris said 200 million.
I say 200 million.
112 million. I'm gonna go 160. That's gonna be my number.
Wow,
160 million.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I think 200 million is conservative. I really do. I think.
What was your prediction?
I said 200 million. I said I think 200 million. I'm being conservative by saying 200 million. I think honestly for that first opening weekend, I think it could make like 215. Oh, I'm sticking with 200 just to be safe.
Yeah. Jason says 150 million. Mr. Unknown says okay, 166.6 repeating.
I just man.
2 days.
What did Wonder Woman open her first weekend?
37 cents.
37 cents.
No.
It's beating it.
No, but her movie did well first opening weekend too.
I know. It would just be nuts if Captain Marvel beat Wonder Woman in opening weekend.
I mean, but
Wonder Woman opened, Jackie said, at 103. So yeah, this will beat it.
But in a way, though, like you can't to go there and say, well, it'd be crazy if this one does this. It's not really fair, though, just because, I mean, you know, you have a humongous tie-in with Captain Marvel that Wonder Woman didn't. Wonder Woman had, you know, a little bit with Justice League. I mean, really the only tie-in with that was just that picture that was showing them from back in the day. But, I mean, there's so much more, I guess, tied into Captain Marvel that, you know, you can see it smashing Wonder Woman because of the fact that it's riding on the coattails of what's going to be the biggest movie that's ever been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right. Yeah. The 2 billion monster that's right on its coattails. Right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So we got some. So if you come in later, watching later, listening later, streaming later, whatever, go ahead and leave your estimate there. I'll add it to the list here. I'm adding Stay Puft now.
Man,
you said 501 million.
I still don't know. Man, that's a tough one. Because oh man.
See, the reason I kind of do the preamble thing is because there are a lot of different factors to consider, you know. But even then, it's still a crapshoot because I keep going back to Venom, but that was just like nobody expected that, you know. So,
dude,
I don't know. Let's just go for broke. If we're all too high, we're all too high. I'll say 157.
157. Okay. All right. Okay.
I still say with Venom, I think it was just people really wanted to ensure that movie got a sequel and that they had a chance. Because I also think it comes out.
It was the Asian market, man.
Well, no, I think there's that, but I also think that you have the fact that there's people that want to see it be brought over into that with the murder and everything like that. It's just like, oh, cool, like. Maybe Sony will be like, listen, like you guys can bring him into the universe proper, and then because that's what I think everyone's was really banking on. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I just
that's
I get to see that too. I'm actually I've seen the preview for it. Like it's coming to HBO. And I think that's the only way I'm gonna watch it because I don't feel like I'm not paying extra money outside to go see it. Like I refuse.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Okay, so the solicitations come out, and typically they're about 2 months ahead when they come out. So this will I'm stumbling over my words. The solicitations that we got this week are actually for May. And the two that I want to mention and kind of talk to you guys about are two that actually come out on the same day, May 1st. The first one is DCeased, DC Comics, obviously. It's DC Universe meets the zombie apocalypse. It's going to be written by Tom Taylor. And then some people are saying that it really sounds a lot like Marvel Zombies. So I was looking to kind of get an idea of what it might be, and I found kind of an interview that one of the creative team did with IGN. So he said it's the New Gods techno-organic virus, which affects the world's networks and spreads to some 600 million people through anything with a screen. Those affected try to remove the virus from their minds by scratching and ripping at their own flesh. But once the virus takes hold, they essentially become a rage zombie. So they're like the fast, like angry ones, like World War Z style.
8 days later.
Yeah.
The rage virus.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I really like Tom Taylor. He did like some great stuff with like X-23 was the last one. I think he did X-Men Red. Didn't he do Injustice or something like that? I think he did Injustice: Gods Among Us.
I think
Was
so.
that
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, or was it the Earth 2 stuff? Was he doing the Earth 2 Society and stuff like that? Was he doing that one too? I don't remember. Somebody will let us know. They said Injustice. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a couple kind of mixed responses here. Looking, Comics Must Explain. Shout out to you. He says looking forward to DCeased, and then somebody else I saw it. Oh, Jackie. He said DCeased is exactly like Marvel Zombies, a dozen years too late. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. It's just like, I mean.
Yeah, but that's cool. But I mean, DC hasn't really had a zombies thing like this, so whatever, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I would like this to be like a Black Label, like.
I'm
then they can go balls to the wall with it.
I'll tell you what, Black Label's caught so much like just garbage over the time that I'm done with Black Label as far as like. It's not going to be what I mean. I know that they launched it with Batman and they tried to launch it with flagship characters where they're like, you can't do this with them. And I'm sure there's going to be other titles that, you can get as gritty as you want, as violent as you want, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. But I just think everything surrounding it, I think that DC's playing it way too safe when it comes to that. And you know what? I like the Black Label pot really just, it bothers me because I feel like no matter what, they're always going to have that just black eye when it comes to the fact that they had to bow down and clean it up because, everybody got too upset and were like, oh, my kids can't see this. So I feel like even if it's characters that aren't supposed to be, that aren't the flagship characters that you have to worry about all the, merchandising behind them, they're still going to have the same thing. People are going to be like, my kid shouldn't be reading this. Like, you're right. It says it right there. Like, don't, So I don't know. I just the Black Label. I'd rather just have them just make a regular comic. Don't promise it on Black Label because I feel like they can't hold to the standard that they said that they're going to hold to because of the fact that too many people are going to speak up and just have negative opinions and negative reactions and everyone's going to get upset. And, we're going to have delayed and censored versions of what should have been.
Mm-hmm, exactly. They actually caved on a couple things. So since we're talking about, we'll go back to the book in a second, but Black Label, no, Mr. Oh no, we do not need that. So for Batman Damn #3, the initial orders for that were canceled.
Yep.
It's going to be resolicited in March, so very soon, with a May sale date. And then the other thing that they kind of caved on is Second Coming. That's canceled. Probably and shout out to Jay over at Comic Frontline. He said it's going to be going through another publisher, not DC, for that book. The writer's going to take that book and go elsewhere with it. And then Brian B, shout out to him. He told me that DC announced the 12th cover for Tech 1000. But I'm getting kind of off in the weeds right now. I just really wanted to mention the Batman Dead #3 initial orders canceled. So if you did pre-order it, you may have to go back to your shop and let them know once it's resolicited that you do want that again, just so that they know, But those are just examples of them caving, listening to people a little more than they should,
Yep. All that means is when it comes out, heavy censorship. So whatever was supposed to happen isn't going to happen now. And the whole, just because it's in that painted style, the guy who draws it has to go back and take care of all that crap and redo it all. So it's just like, it is like, it's sad to me in certain cases when it's just like, you can't, it's so stupid that people can't differentiate between something, a medium that literally anybody can enjoy of all ages, but for that same reason, they can't sit there and be like, oh, so there's actual specific adult-oriented or adult-themed things that aren't right for kids that they shouldn't be, Like it just bothers me that everyone's like, oh, I didn't, just because I don't want to have to sit there and monitor what my kid is doing. I'm just going to go out there and, with my pitchfork and torch and start screaming and yelling so that nobody can have it. That's bullshit.
Exactly. I don't like it. Therefore, I don't want anyone else to have it. That's not the right mindset. Yeah.
And big shout out. Thanks, Perry Comics, for coming by. Says he's got to step away. You check out the rest on the replay. So thanks for coming by, though.
All right.
Very cool. All right. Well, I guess that's a good segue to the next one. So we'll kick it on over to Marvel. And if you will guess from this screenshot that I'm slow about sharing. Come on, screenshot. There we go. So this also has, I've heard mixed reactions on it. This is Savage Avengers. Also comes out May 1st. Written by Jerry Duggan with Mike Deodato Jr. artwork. And it says, spinning out of the events of Avengers No Road Home. Oh, this comes out, by the way, right around the same time as War of the Realms, right? That event. So Savage Avengers will find Conan fighting alongside an unsanctioned team of heroes in the Marvel Universe, including Wolverine, Venom, Punisher, Elektra, and Brother Voodoo, who you can see here on the cover, so that's not a spoiler. Jerry Duggan was talking to Entertainment Weekly, and again, I was looking for kind of a little bit more about what it might be, the story. So here you go. This is Jerry Duggan's words. We envisioned a threat, a magical green zone where the evil wizards of Conan's world are trading spells with the Hand in Japan. Conan is on a very Conan-like mission. He's heard a tale of an amulet, so he's chasing it, and the evil magic sorcerers are doing something that would be a Marvel Avengers problem. It feels like we have found some very fertile ground that is a Venn diagram between the two worlds. So it sounds like the Hand and these wizards are kind of that like portally gap between Hyboria and 616. So if you were wondering how he's going to be there in the modern time, you know, that's kind of where that's coming from. So Comics Miss explains, Savage Avengers probably should have been called the Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolts name doesn't sell. Yeah, right.
Should have been named Thunderbolts. Yeah.
There you go. But bam.
I mean,
so the most strongest reaction to this is like the team itself. It looks kind of like over the top and ridiculous. I think that part of it will be fun. I think if Jerry Duggan writes it in a way that is kind of self-aware of that, like ridiculousness, it'll be fun. But the biggest kind of negative reaction is, I don't want Conan in the 616. That's not the right. Like they just got the license for him. Let's hope they're not like trying to run this idea into the ground, like we know Marvel kind of likes to do with some things. So
I feel the exact same way. It's just like, you know, Conan doesn't belong there. Like Conan would have no, like, first of all, if you've ever watched the movies or actually read, you know, through Conan, like something like this, he like you'd have to coerce him into doing this. Like he wouldn't just show up and be like, all right, Punisher, Wolverine, all these guys, you know, let me work with you. Like you'd have to make it worth his while. Because I mean, as much as anything else, Conan is you know, about getting paid. He's also just, I mean, unless something horribly wrong has happened, then he'll avenge it. But other than that, though, Conan makes no sense in there. And I know they want it like that. And this is what I was kind of curious about. Like, what are they doing with him? Why this big push for Conan? And I hope that, you know,
because they just paid out the ass for the licensing for it.
Well, I just hope they figured it's going to be the big people. Yeah, because I mean, it's just so weird. And I'm sure, you know, getting into it, you know, maybe it'll be pretty cool. But it's just like I just don't see it. I mean, especially too the other person you have. I mean, arguably, you have a bunch of just, you know, straight out killers, you know, along with Conan, and then the only magic user you have is Jericho Drum. Brother Voodoo. And I'm not saying that he's, you know, any kind of slouch in that department, but it's just like you're fighting multiple wizards from Conan's realm, and then on top of that, I don't think anybody in, you know, from Hyboria is that powerful that it's just like, oh, you know, we need a Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, none of them can rival him. I just feel like there's probably going to be a lot more to it. There has to be in order for it to be a good story. Just because unless they're going to overpower the Hyborian, you know, like Cothamon and all those, you know, those wizards, like make them like ridiculously overpowered to be able to stand tall.
Did they say whether or not this is going to be a miniseries? Surely it's just going to be a miniseries, right?
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards picking it up in trade. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I mean, single issues.
For a miniseries, he's got to come here, whatever. I can see that. It'll be a fun read. The Hand's in it. Daredevil might show up. I'll read it.
Yeah. Have any of you guys ever read this issue?
I own that. That's a great one.
Right? That's
No.
Conan. And, yeah.
That one, in that one, he becomes hilarious.
That one, and then they've got the other one where, what if Conan and Thor met?
Yeah.
I'll read that one.
There's another one like what if he just was in our time, and then there's
that one with the gun.
He's stranded in he's stranded in the modern day, and what happens and exactly like what I'm saying, like Conan, as much of anything, he's as much as he wants to be the king of his own, like he'll be the king of his own kingdom and everything like that. He's also about hunting treasure and trying to get money and this and that. That's why he becomes a pimp. Like, if you ever read that comic, it's hilarious. Like, he becomes a pimp, and then like the girl that he's kind of hanging out with is just like, "This is not cool. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. You're actually hurting people by being this way."
Right.
And just to teach him that, that's not a good life to lead. But it's a fun one though.
See how ridiculous that sounds? That it's a fun issue.
Yeah.
If Duggan takes that type of ridiculous approach to this, I think it'll be a fun read.
If Conan gets his pimp hat back, or at least puts a pimp cape on or something, I'm in. Yeah. Like that's funny. I laughed my ass off when I read that comic.
Yeah.
Then there's what if Wolverine faced Conan? I think that there's that one as well. It's just like
the Conan Thor though was super good. Like that story does not go in a direction that you think it would go when you first picked that book up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was a really good read. So if you ever see that one laying around, if you haven't read it, definitely grab that one out.
It's funny too because that one, because of the fact that this whole push for Conan and it was a true believer and everything, it's gone from being just sitting in your dollar bin to probably something that like people will charge you around $10 for. So yeah, so if you can find it in the dollar bin, definitely pick it up. Like regardless of shape too, I agree with Justin. Like if it's in beat up shape and you're just reading it just for the story, pick it up, especially if it's a dollar.
Exactly. Since we're talking about kind of funny stuff, they were mentioning in the chat. So a couple things, and it's a good question. I hope they answer it. How will they be able to understand each other? Right? Conan doesn't know English. I would assume.
Brother Voodoo can cast a language spell.
Yeah, they got some communicators from Nick Fury. And the other thing is, you have what's his name, Todd Phillips. He's doing a biopic on Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
And Chris Hemsworth is going to be Hulk Hogan.
Is it confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to see an impression. I mean, if you can get the impression down and do it, with no problem, that could be cool.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him as Hollywood Hogan, like with the all black.
Yeah.
Hemsworth
doesn't have too much hair though. He's gonna have to shave his head a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, they got to put a ball cap on him.
Yep, they're gonna have to put a ball cap on him. They're gonna have to.
Well, he just wears the bandana and the sunglasses. He just needs to grow the handlebar mustache.
That's true.
Right.
And then become Hollywood Hogan and go back. Like it's funny that they're going, and I'm assuming that WWE is going to produce it because they just did that other one, or they just released that other movie for Paige. So I'm assuming
Fighting with My Family.
Huh?
Fighting with My Family.
Yeah. That I think is going to be how, because they had him on a Mean Gene on Raw, and the crowd didn't turn on him like a lot of people had thought that they might. Because of all the stuff that happened with Gawker and all that type of stuff, and I think that this will be how they try to get people back. This will be how they are able to reintroduce him and have him make appearances and work for WWE again. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be like they're gonna produce that movie, put it out there, and then after that he's gonna be a just a ambassador for the company type deal. Because
this doesn't say. Like you said, I'm assuming because they keep all their stuff, but it's going to be on Netflix. If anyone was wondering,
that's kind of crazy. Netflix, huh?
I
don't know. I wonder because I figure they have their own streaming service. Why not? I know Netflix is probably bigger than more subscribers than WWE Network, but I figure why wouldn't they put it on their own? You know what I mean? Yeah. Or license it out at least. Like I feel like it should show up on both. So if it doesn't show up on both, then maybe it is independently produced.
I was trying to like do a quick little search here to find it, but no, I don't see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So maybe you'll get some vitamins with your ticket. Cool. So I wanted to mention that. This is a $5 book, the Savage one.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
What, the first issue for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I figured that. I just didn't know if it was gonna be like $5 the whole run.
Hopefully not.
I have to say,
be larger than normal.
Yeah, the idea of a raged out Wolverine maybe fighting Conan sounds pretty appealing.
Yeah.
Claws versus broadsword.
I just feel like I think that Venom and Conan, I think I have to have a showdown just because I mean he'd want to fight a monster.
All right, so if they don't end up going to the Savage Land, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Oh yeah.
Fight Kesa?
It's in the title. They need to go there.
That's right, and that would mean we get Savage Land Rogue.
Hey,
yeah,
Rogue on the team.
No, but she could be there with Kazar hanging out.
We could have Savage Land Elektra.
Yeah, because of the hand, right? They're all tied in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
On the team, so
we need to be consulted on this story. We
got
some good
stuff. I'm glad you brought that up. The hand is the one that's dealing with the Hyborian wizard. That
right.
seems like they seem like they'd be a little bit low level to be dealing with.
No. All right, yeah, I know the hand's weird, but the hand has like there are demons, actual demons that are in the hand and stuff like that. So it could be something like that.
Yeah, and somehow they're like swapping spells back and forth.
They found like a dimensional bridge.
Yeah, it's like a little pocket universe where like on the edge of both of the universes, so they're kind of like mixed, right?
Ooh, good question from Jackio. He says he wonders if Hyborian steel is as strong as adamantium.
Yeah. That's a good question.
That is the riddle.
What about Valerian steel? Oh.
Valeria.
That was a good rendition of that.
Thanks.
I wonder if the friend will be in the little Asian dude from the movie. Like, I wonder if he'll be in. If he's not in there, I'm gonna be sad.
Oh, that would be cool if like he meets up with Brother Voodoo and was like,
exactly,
Brother Voodoo, why are you wearing a suit?
Well, that's true. I think Brother Voodoo should go back to some of his old stuff just to kind of like better.
There'll be like a scene in like the first few pages where somebody will point to Brother Voodoo and they'll be like, "Get him a super suit." That looked horrible. Like him just wearing that looked like junk on the cover. To me, that detracts from that character, right? Oh, okay, there's a dude wearing a suit. Who cares about him? All these other guys are like superheroes, and it's like
actually, yeah.
That was as jarring as seeing Hulk with a suit on the cover of Wolverine 8, with Puck.
Yep.
I was like, what?
Comics Misexplained says he wants to see James L. Jones Thulsa Doom. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
He had to pay to license his face. I don't know. That'd be cool. But Conan, he could only be in the book for like 2 seconds. Conan coming back. I already hacked your head off once.
So, yeah, it's definitely one to at least maybe check out. Wait for our review. I don't know.
Well, have y'all checked out? Just Conan or Savage Sword of Conan that came out last week. Have you read either one of those yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading Conan. It's cool stuff.
I'm digging both of them. So if they can, keep hitting it out of the park with if he's in the title, it's going to be good. Maybe they can, especially with it being a mini series. Remember that. Let's just keep it in mind. It's a mini series. It's going to be okay.
All right. Well, I see that Edwin's here. I'm glad because our next topic is something that I think actually he brought to our attention, right? So CGC has been granted rights by Marvel to create new certification labels, kind of like they had the Stan Lee ones. Remember those? The little picture up on top. You had to pay a little bit extra for it.
Yep.
So now they have this new agreement with Marvel itself. So you can get on the label a picture. You can have Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Captain America. you'll be able to see them for the first time at C2E2, which is coming up in a couple weeks. So they remain available until the end of 2019. All you do is just do your regular submission process, and then there'll be a section where you pay an extra $5 fee for it, right? And you get Universal Blue Label and Signature Label, so the yellow labels as well. So either of those. So there you go. What do you guys think of that? Is it just another like cash grab, like a lot of people thought with the Stan Lee labels, or is that something like legit that you'd want to go for?
I'm sure it is a cash grab.
I mean, if I was submitting like Spider-Man book or Captain America or something, sure, but like I don't want a Daredevil book with a Spider-Man label at the top, you know?
Right, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna do it across all titles, not all, but across like the bigger titles and stuff like that, and I wonder if it's gonna be something where, all right, we're gonna roll out these characters first, and then over time we'll get more. I think that might end up being kind of seen as just straight out cash grab, and really just kind of why not just roll out everybody?
Well, it does say CGC plans to offer additional labels throughout the year, including an Avengers label in April to coincide with Endgame.
So yeah, so I mean, to that end, it does sound like it's really just they're trying to make it really gimmicky, and I don't think they need to do quite that much. But I mean, it's up to them. I mean, I guess any sort of leg up on the competition you can get, you're gonna take. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, it just comes at that whole expense of the fan who's and then it makes me wonder if this is like if people are gonna hold that more dear than the regular CGC label. Say, well, you don't have your Avengers book isn't an Avengers label, so automatically I want to get this one more than I want to get that one because it says Avengers on it. It's just
but that happens though. I mean, I see people now with on eBay they see a 9.8. They want the new CGC case and the new label.
Yeah.
Versus now I'm not talking about like the really, really old ones.
Yeah.
Where when you had like a 9.8, it was a red label. But yeah, I do see people want like some of the newer cases, and I think it is a cash grab, man. And I think it's a good selling point. It's going to get to that point to where, yeah, like Chris said, you're going to see people that they see that new Avengers banner and they're like, man, that's the one I really want. Especially when it comes to like some kind of like Infinity related comic book or something like that.
That's kind of a double-edged sword though, because you think about 2021 when you're looking at slabs, you're gonna be like, man, that slab is an old one. That's from 3 years ago.
Exactly. Having it be having it just be the way it is, it kind of keeps it ambiguous. But yeah, because that is dating, that's definitely gonna date the label a little bit, especially if it's something like, and then the other thing,
when it's tied to a movie like that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing you gotta worry about too is that are they gonna do like a lot of things do happen with stuff like that where it's just like, all right, we're gonna put this out there. Is it gonna be limited time only and they're gonna like, retire certain ones to bring out different ones, or will they just keep that going forever? Because I could see that where it's like, all right, first group of titles come out, in the beginning of this year, and then 3 years on the road, all right, we're going to discontinue doing Avengers, and the next big Marvel property in the movies is now the Eternals, so we're going to have an Eternals label, so what I mean?
That's what they're going to do. Yep.
Well, I think they are testing the market, and there's nothing wrong with that. As soon as the news dropped, people were hitting me up on Facebook telling me about it. It's like, yeah, I already seen it, and then the first thing they say is, man, CBCS is really falling behind. And I'm like, yeah, they are. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for. I've heard rumors that they're just waiting to get rid of all the older banners before they change their stuff. And, this is just another evidence of CGC staying ahead of the curve.
Well, no, like, what I'm thinking, I mean, the only reason that I bring up, not so much like, I just think that, something like to have it be something like that, okay, cool. But if they're going to do, and I don't know what they're going to do, but if they do end up making it where it's just like, okay, these titles for these characters are going to be exclusive for, let's say we run these for like 4 years, then we're going to run another few characters for another 4 years and take those ones out of the rotation. Like that would be kind of a pain, because then it's just like it goes back to what Jesse said, where it's like you're kind of dating your books. as far as like, oh, if you get one with an Avengers label and now it's 3 years down the road or 3 or 4 years down the road when they stopped, you're gonna know that book is that's been sitting in that case for like 4 years, rather than just having just a regular blue label where it's just like, okay, you just actually look at the date, like it's just like you can see that. And I wonder if this is gonna be like just a way to kind of, I mean, to say cash grab, it's not always. Cash grab is not known as a nice way of looking at things. Like it's kind of like it's kind of looked on as a company being a little bit greedy. So it's just like I think that that part of things they want to kind of stay away from. Like if they're just gonna open it up and be like, okay, we're not gonna roll out every title right away. We're gonna keep these ones going forever, but we're gonna add more as they go along. That wouldn't be so bad. It's just if they're gonna put like just kind of like how they do with like the Disney movies, when you see them like, oh, for a limited time, then it's going back in the vault, and then you don't see that movie for like 5 years. You can't buy it on DVD anymore, and then like, oh, look, it's the 25th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast. We're bringing it back out again. It's just like one of those things where I think that kind of can hurt them a little bit. As far as CBCS goes, I mean, at this point, I'm not sure if I'm not sure how they're gonna do, what they're gonna be able to do to combat any sort of like gimmicky type stuff that CGC is doing. But I mean,
yeah, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but from what I hear, that they don't really want to go for what might be perceived as some of that more gimmicky stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they, like Edwin said, maybe they do need like a label update, but I think they're sticking to their core kind of aspects of their labeling.
I think that's smart, just because you can always, like, as much as people like to go for gimmicky type stuff, and it's just like, yeah, man, it's cool because you have this. If the competition has something that's just a better overall product, like it's just better made, better done, that's they'll always, like, there's always a way to, I guess, undersell the competition to make them look bad when they do gimmicky type stuff, where it's just like they're doing this because their product's inferior. Like this is why they have this little label here to try to make it prettier. But we give you the best graded book. We have the best grading. We have the best cases. We are the ones that are gonna encapsulate your book and make sure that this 9.8 stays a 9.8. Whereas they just want to put a little pretty label on there and get your money because it says Spider-Man on the side and there's a little face.
$5 for our sticker.
I want the error where they mess up and a Batman book gets a Spider-Man label.
Yeah,
that's the one that's gonna be worth money.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know a lot of people like put value in how centered the book is in the actual slab. So then people will be like, well, this sticker is a little crooked. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see a bunch of reviews like when they first roll it out and people get the first review through. There's a lot of people that are going to be on both sides of the fence. This is the coolest thing ever. This thing sucks. And then you get the real critical people, like you were saying, Jesse, that'd be like, look how this is off center. This doesn't look good. Like look at the quality of this. This is garbage. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But real quick, if you think about it, it is all about presentation and eye appeal. I mean,
absolutely.
Because I'll just be honest. I mean, the biggest argument that I have for people who love CBCS is the fact that their cases are thinner and clearer. But of course with CGC, it's the cases are more sound and they look nicer. And you got something like this. I think it just adds to the eye appeal of their whole product. I think it's a great idea. Like I said, I just wish that CBCS would kind of step up their game a little bit and kind of be a little bit more innovative with their product, because it's been now a year or two since they've been with Beckett, so they got to step it up.
Yeah, no, I think you hit on the money there with the innovation. It may work, it may not. People are be on both sides of the fence, like we're saying, but there is something to be said about, and this goes for any industry really, innovation and trying new things and moving it forward. Trying to obviously they're trying to capture that market share from their competitors, but something different. Avoiding that stagnation, is important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can even look at something like the game industry and look at how that. I mean, when Nintendo came out with the Wii, and it was just like, it's like motion control and this and that. Like people were just like, at first people kind of like, oh, that's strange, but then people were like, oh, no, that's kind of cool. And now you see PlayStation's doing a lot more with VR. So it's just like, everybody's trying to get that one leg up to see like where they can, because you never know what's going to be the thing that sticks out the most, and ends up being the industry standard going forward. So we'll see what happens. Like I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's just, I guess for a lot of people, it's going to be the advice I would give is just do what you like. But if you're on the fence, if you're not quite sure, let other people get it and just kind of let other people get it, tell you what they think, and then when you get the chance, because they're going to show up at cons with this stuff, get for yourself and see what you think.
Yep, exactly. And it's an add-on, so it's not something you have to get. If you want to try it, you pay the $5. If you don't, you don't, and you get your normal label, and then so it's kind of low risk, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It could look amazing, and you'd be like kicking yourself, like, dude, like, this Amazing Spider-Man 300 slab. I mean, with the Spider-Man label, just knocks it out of the park. I think, and then the other ones maybe not so much, but we'll see.
Yeah. So cool. Well, we'll definitely, if we get them or something, we'll be sure to let you guys know what we think of them. Absolutely. As they come out. So cool. So this is something I wanted to. We've never really done this before. Is talk about like the CBSI lists and the hot lists and all that stuff. So that seems to be what all the cool kids are talking about these days. No, so I was looking at this list, and they do the Hot 10. So this came out on 2/15. So we should get the next one tomorrow, Friday. So this is all we have to go for. And there's where I'm going with this is kind of down below. So we were actually talking about this book and Deadpool 19 last week, with the Hulu announcement with the 4 shows.
Yep.
So minor correction. I mentioned Deadpool 19, right? Apparently that was delayed slightly in terms of its release date, and Hitmonkey #1 came out first. So even though Deadpool 19 was supposed to be the first appearance, because of the delay, it ended up making it his second appearance.
I love that they used the layout for the old Wizard layout.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Yeah. Tales of Suspense, obviously, Black Widow is those are going to be on fire. More so as we get more announcement about that.
Yep.
I don't know about that. Immortal Hulk, man, I refuse. I don't know. A lot of people love it though. And then there's other stuff.
I still can't pick it up either.
Yeah, I'm like stubborn about it. I still have that first issue though. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looked cool. It just honestly for me, it came out at a time there was a bunch of other stuff I was collecting all that time too. It's just like I couldn't add another title, and now unfortunately, even if I wanted to add it, just certain issues are getting real expensive, and you can't.
Yeah.
So,
Jackie says he's been sitting on a couple issues of Hitmonkey forever.
All right, now it's paying off.
Yeah.
Sell those.
Oh yeah, so I won't skip. Okay, sorry about that. These Savage Shores. So, yeah,
and this is new, right?
It's this will be issue 3, which dropped I guess 2 weeks ago. And it's through. We can click on it. I think.
Oh
it takes us to eBay. So it's through Vault. It's through Vault Comics.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hadn't even heard of that.
It did
Yeah.
Oh my god, they do a bunch of stuff, but they
looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
The only book I bought from
this
Vault
is an
was
exclusive.
Heathen, yeah.
Yeah, I like Heathen.
Was good. I will say this. I mean, Heathen, because that's the only one I bought from them too, and it was a good story. I enjoyed it a lot. So
yeah.
But
it was actually where did I first heard it? I don't know.
What?
I was just thinking about where I first heard about Heathen. I think it was somebody on YouTube, but I don't know. So
yeah, I remember like we all heard about it, like, and then we all ran out and tried to find that first issue.
Yeah.
I gotta find it. It's mine.
Yeah. So Captain Marvel stuff. This is Chris Bocciolo, 1 in 50. Kelly Thompson run is obviously what the movie is going to be based on. So, if I have a Heathen issue 1 variant question, who can I talk to?
I don't know. I mean,
ask the question. I'm sure we can find the answer.
Yeah. Ask it here. This is a Zafino. This is popular. That's a cool cover.
That's so bad last week.
Yeah. The Immortal Hulk stuff. Yeah. Is all Zafino. So I think that he's kind of getting hot right now. Gerardo Zafino. Yeah. That's a really cool cover though. Adam Hughes cover.
Yep. Same deal.
Right.
Didn't
60 to 70. Yep.
But that doesn't look as good as this Adam Hughes cover.
Oh.
Is he gonna show?
Wait, where is it?
Oh, I know.
I forgot my camera wasn't on.
Oh.
Yep. That's a great.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that just looks better to me. I don't know why.
It's funny you mentioned that.
There's more to it, man. It's so much nicer.
I'll go back because I saw it somewhere. I don't know. Where was it? Okay. Anyways. So, Rye.
Yep.
Still, that's always been there's really, really diehard Valiant fans out there.
That's been a big spec book though.
Yeah.
I was back and forth with Erod this morning, and I put mine on eBay last night, and like this morning, like less than 10 hours later, it sold.
Oh wow.
You gotta buy it now, so people are eating this book up right now.
Well, just because Valiant, people are thinking that Valiant is going to do well. And I can say, there's a good chance it might, just because, I know a lot of people who used to laugh at like, oh, the Valiant comics and blah, blah, blah. But I guess if you actually sat down, there's some really good stuff if you actually read through them. And it's just, if they have really good content inside, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It could do really well, and these could be a bunch of just, for everybody who had tons of them in the 90s and got laughed at, and people like, oh, like these are like, these are cheap as hell. Like, nobody cares about these. Who's to say that you didn't win out and after all of it by being like, no, these are good. Like, and we'll see what happens. Because those were such long shots as far as like, and even at the time, because no one knew those characters. When you're going up against like, the X-Men and even like Spawn at the time and everything like that, it was just like, Valiant Comics got pushed. I remember picking up all the Valiant comics I own, except the few that I picked up in the past few years. I got for a nickel from a shop that was closing. They were just like, yeah. Like,
but they still brought a lot of people. Like they had Bob Layton, they had
this is Bob Layton here.
I think they had Franco, and plus Wizard was advertising heavily.
Everybody was
crossovers too with Image.
Yeah, them and Image like were in all the comics and everything. Like they were advertising like crazy. But I just remember too. Because I remember at the time I was like 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. Like I didn't really know too many artists at that point in time. I just knew that certain people did stuff I liked, and other people I just didn't take the time to learn their names. So it's just like a lot of people who were younger at that time had no idea. Like, oh, Bob Layton's in this. Joe Quesada's in this one. Nowadays as grown adults, like, oh my god, like what a lineup they had. You think about the amount of the crazy amount of artists they had working on some of these books. It was just like they had those guys working on those books. At that time, that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge names like Neil Adams and stuff doing like independents, and they just flew under the radar. George Perez, just because it wasn't like a big 2 book, but if you like those guys, like Bob Layton on that issue 0,
Yeah.
So,
and who else had kind of what other company had it like that was Charlton back in the day. Charlton had a murderer's row of talent working there. They had everyone from Bob Layton to John Byrne, Neil Adams. All those guys are working on books for them. They just had to put it under, a lot of them use just like fake names and stuff, just because they were also working for Marvel at the same time. And it was just, but like they had crazy talent in there, and it was just like it's funny how some of these at the time the indies that just don't stack up to the big 2. Or at the time in the 90s, the big 3 just flow way under the radar. People weren't even paying attention. And nowadays, it's just like if you were a Valiant guy, and now it's getting to be one of those things where, yeah, these are all worth money now.
Exactly. And you're the Valiant guy. You're like, see, what did I tell you?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, it took a multi-million-dollar movie.
I commend you guys books, and would just sit there and be like, took all the shit that people gave them, and now they can gloat and be like, hey, especially if it takes off, like if Bloodshot is really good, that's it. Like, people are gonna be, but if you're a Valiant guy, you can gloat for years on that one.
Yeah, right. Also, if you're a Trench guy and the Trench movie does well, you can gloat too.
All those Trench fans.
That's right. All the Trench fans. I don't even know. It's in development, but who knows if it'll actually get made. Right?
A Trench movie. Crazy.
Yeah. We were talking about that last week,
I know. It's still one of those funny things. Just like, oh my God. It's like, I mean, that has to be a one shot, absolutely. But it's just like, is there enough content on the Trench in Aquaman comics to cobble together a movie?
I don't know enough about it to
exactly.
say, so they'd have to do like original story. So I think this is the first full, and then issue 1. This is Aquaman Volume 5, number 2. So issue number 1 of this volume, I think, is the first cameo appearance. I think there's a little bit of a teaser there. So if you want that, maybe pick up both if you can. This is the book that I wanted to call out and kind of why I was doing this whole thing here. So this is called The Devils, number 1, Matthew Spradlin. This is through Antarctic Press. But if you look at it, I don't know if you can see on the top there, Antarctic, but it says Rock Comics, right?
Yep.
See that right here?
Oh, that like an imprint?
No. Like I said, Antarctic. This is a mature. What did it say over here? It told us. Maybe it didn't. So I was looking it up. I'm like, what the hell is Rock Comics? So I came over here, and it's actually an app. So what you do, take traditional comics and add sound, motion, and extras. You can get it in the Apple Store, the Robot Store. I'm just kidding. Android Store. So basically what you do is you like scan a page or whatever, and it does like a motion sound kind of like animation of it. So it seems pretty cool. It's Rock, R-O-K Comics. You can see it got the same logo there. I don't know what will happen if I do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
You get sucked in the
yeah. Uh-oh. I gotta mute it. Oh, crap. I can't stop it. Can you hear any noise?
No. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Know. It looks cool. Do you hear the sound from it, or is that just me?
No, it's just you.
That's you.
So you just see that. So there's music and songs that go along with it. But see how it does? So a book like this, you'll be able to do that with.
That's pretty
I thought that was pretty cool. So that's what I wanted to kind of shout out there, though, is that. So if you ever see that, this is yeah, right. Maybe check it out with the app, or like see what else they have on there, explore it. That's a cool way to add a little bit of extra something or other to when you're reading. So
yeah, another one, like augmented reality, the AR stuff.
Yeah.
Is Anomaly was another one that came out, and also from Image last year there was a book called Faster Than Light that had a lot of AR stuff that you could do with it. So you want to check out like Anomaly Studios.
Okay.
Follow those guys on Instagram. They do a ton of great stuff. Brian Haberlin's involved in them, so always good stuff coming out of there.
Cool. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Yeah, I like that aspect of it. So
yeah.
Cool.
It's definitely somewhere to take, the medium in a cool direction to give us more than just the book. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I haven't really used much of it, but I think that with some of the apps, like it's not full on like AR, but they have like you can read like traditional, I guess, like a PDF, so it's like just the page, or you can do it in a way where it's like panel by panel, and it like takes you around the page.
Right.
So,
the ones that I've used for like the anomaly stuff is through my phone while reading the book.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's a good like kind of blend between digital and obviously paper medium. So
Right.
it's pretty cool. And then we'll just do the honorable mentions here and then go on to the next thing. So that was really the highlight that from this page. So probably touch on these in future weeks, especially if there's something interesting like that to kind of call out. So be on the lookout for future installments of us going over this top 10 list. But this is an honorable mention, so books that almost made the top 10 list. Marvel Tales Black Widow. It's a 1 in 50 by Jen Bartel. This is actually the variant for it. And I guess there's only a couple out there. And for a book like that, there's probably was a 1 in 50 ratio. Not that many of them out there. So might be one to look for. And that's a great cover, right? Black Widow. And I think, this is the last one. Startling Terror Tales. Nothing, I don't know. It's just an expensive ass book.
Right. I never heard of it.
Yeah, CGC 3.5 sold for 3,600. Okay, let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit here.
It's not a Silver Age book or anything, is it?
Yeah,
1954.
Oh, yeah.
This is a 1.8 for 63.
Ooh, so it's just rare.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a rare book.
Reproduction.
Dawn Publications. 1954, so it's pre-code horror, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Pre-code, yeah.
Right at the end of that pre-code era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People like that stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's getting more popular too. So maybe that kind of plays into why it made the list. The PCH they call it. So
well, I know a lot of people, I think people are curious about it, but a lot of it's so hard to get your hands on. Like, you kind of have to know like what you're looking for and where to go, and also have some decent money to spend on comics, just because that stuff isn't cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so tell me what you want to talk about next. You want to talk about Old Guard, or you want to talk about Disney Plus, Star Wars, rumors of what might be some new shows coming up?
Flip a coin. I mean,
right?
Old God. It seems like it'd be pretty quick. If you want to really get into the whole Star Wars thing,
okay.
And then we'll see Old God a little later on.
Okay. So these aren't confirmed; they're not official, but there are rumors out there from quote unquote insiders. So take that as you will. We already have a bunch of The Mandalorian and Episode 9 just wrapped.
Yep. So
we're on kind of like title reveal watch is what I call it. So a lot of kind of movement in the Star Wars realm. Mandalorian obviously will be on Disney Plus, the streaming service. And some of the others like Cassian Andor series that we know is going to happen. Animated series we know is going to happen. So these are rumors, potentials. A young Princess Leia show. Captain Phasma show. Knights of Ren.
That'd be cool.
Here's one that I know that some people will love. Rose Tico show. And then Darth Bane show, which sounds pretty cool. So those are for me the most interesting of that would probably be either the Knights of Ren or the Darth Bane.
Yeah. I think Knights of Ren would be cool. Young Princess Leia, I mean, maybe we get to see what got her to want to, join up with the rebellion and all that type of stuff. But other than that, it's just like, Princess Leia, she's,
There's not really much interesting about her because she doesn't even really learn much about the Force until Episode 7.
I mean, she doesn't have to. I wouldn't. She doesn't have to be like. I mean, she gets interesting after she gets interesting. I would say in an Empire, like from that point on, when she's like, when she's willing to fight, and she's goes all in, and she's just like, she goes from being kind of a background character in A New Hope to actually like, actively like engaged in fighting with everybody else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's not a whole lot, in my opinion, interesting about her unless you want to see her rich, wealthy lifestyle, because I think her mom, Padme, did the same thing, trying to get all political and stuff in episodes 1, 2, and 3, and nobody really seemed to care too much about that.
We want to talk politics. Her adoptive parents are Senator Bail Organa and Queen Brea.
Yeah.
So She'd have to. It would be a day in the life of the uber wealthy Aunt Alderaan.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
But
I don't know.
what was the other one you said?
Though there wasn't there a story where she actually trained under Luke.
What?
So I think that,
Yeah.
that was in the books, like the expanded universe books.
Mm-hmm.
She started to learn how to use the Force and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's prior to having her kids. She had learned. I think by the time her kids were born, she was an actual adept Force user and lightsaber skill with the lightsaber and everything.
Yeah, true. So okay, so there's not a whole lot to talk about with those, just interesting. Meh, I am really excited about the Mandalorian, though. I do have to say, I think that's going to be a really awesome show.
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian is going to be cool.
Yeah, so
you get to see some of the. I mean, basically, I guess outside of the Jedi, like they're the ones that are the more, I guess you could look at like badass, like just like group of people that are like badass warrior group, other than Jedi that really just put fear into everybody when it comes to who they are, how they fight, and just what they're about. I think it's gonna be a really cool series.
Yeah, for sure. So okay, so our final topic for today is actually about the Old Guard.
Yes.
Old Guard was a 5-issue mini, came out in 2017. I think it was written by Greg Rucka, if I remember correctly. So it was opted pretty soon after that. And then we didn't hear much about it. You got these immortal mercenaries, and they're just kind of like, fighting, old guys in the new world kind of thing. It's interesting. So kind of move forward. We got Charlize Theron and Kiki Lane who are attached to it now. And we do know that Netflix picked up the rights for it. So it's going to be there. Still the same lady directing, Gina Prince Bythewood. She did Secret Life of Bees, and then she also did the pilot episode for Cloak and Dagger. So she's done a couple things. I do like Cloak and Dagger, so if that gives an indication, should be interesting. Charlize Theron on there, that's interesting. So we got a little bit of movement on that. But what do you guys think? Did you read the book when it first came out? And same to the folks in the chat, same question. What did you think of that book?
I remember I liked it when it first came out, but it just kind of lost steam.
It was
like issues 3 and 4 or something like that. I was kind of bored with it, so that's where I kind of dropped off. I mean, the covers were okay, the art was all right, but it wasn't a book that like left like a huge, memorable spot in my memory or anything like that. So.
Yeah, the first 2 issues were really strong, and then I just feel like like Justin said, it just kind of like tapered off and just really wasn't. It just wasn't. It lost a lot of steam and it just wasn't what it came in. Like the first issue is good. The second issue, kind of not as strong as the first, but it was well done. And then after that, they just kind of lost everything. It's almost like they wanted to kind of tell a different story part way through, and it was just like So I am glad it got optioned. Just because. That could be. I'm glad that they're gonna go ahead and try to make it, because that can maybe right some of the wrongs, or better explain what we saw in the panels that maybe we didn't quite understand. I don't know, but I know that I got the whole series hoping that it would get better, and maybe this will give me a new appreciation just seeing it in a different way.
Yeah. There's a couple versions too for issue 1 out there. So we did the Hot 10 list. I bet next week's we'll have the Old Guard number 1 on it, the gold foil one. Yeah. I'm hoping, because that's the one I have.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping as well, because it's just like while I would like to have a new appreciation for it, it's just like I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's in my collection, but it's not something that I'm like super attached to at this point. So it's just like if there's a chance to go ahead and make a little money off it, why not?
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this is I remember having this having a lot ready to sell, like the last couple auctions I've been on, and just never and like I'll see the Old Guard in there, I'm like, nah, nobody will want this yet. Nobody will want this. Now it may be something you start seeing on auctions. So
right.
It is time.
Dun dun dun. Waited for a reason, and it turned out okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking just to make sure I was saying the right thing. So there's like the regular cover, it's white.
Yep.
Then you have a gold foil cover, same image.
That's the one everybody liked.
Yeah, and then there's a second print where instead of all the white, it's all red. So there's 3 different versions that I know of.
Yes.
I mean, if
Is it red or pink?
The first 2 episodes of that show, if they do it based on the book or however they want to do it, everything based on the first 2 issues is going to be awesome. After that, it might not. You might lose a little bit of its lose a little bit of awesomeness. So we'll see. But
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Just like Image. So for everybody who's like, oh, get those Image #1s and blah blah blah. I mean, to an extent, this kind of does. I guess both of that. And then what was it last week or the week before? Basically, was Reborn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was a few weeks ago that got announced with Sandra Bullock and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's just like not saying it's gonna happen for every Image title, but there is a lot of good stuff out there that they can pull from. If they wanted to go ahead and put something out there. So the thing that I would say is it's not gonna be anything where you're not gonna get like a Walking Dead like length of a series with, but something that mini series maybe if it does well and there's enough content behind it, maybe like a 1 or 2 season thing. But I see a lot of that going I see like I feel like they're doing it kind of in a safe way where it's just like they're gonna release these mini series and just allow them to kind of test it out, see what people like, and then maybe bring like a bigger series in, so long as they can, secure the rights and get everything all together and everything like that. Jack used that Jupiter's Legacy, which is another Netflix, Image book has been, cast for Netflix. So that's another.
Well, that's part of Mark Millar.
Yeah.
All of his fun stuff.
Yeah.
Miller. Yeah.
Miller.
They're scooping up everything.
I mean,
they have the deal with him, and I mean,
now that they're losing
Marvel,
Marvel, yeah,
it's a good time for them to dip into all the independents they can find.
That's what I say, because you get to vary it up and everything. I mean, and if they wanted to be like kind of smart about it too, in a way, like I mean, you could also do different themes for different parts of the year. So if you wanted to do something where you had a Halloween theme, you know what I mean, like have some horror shows on there for for Netflix and everything like that. So there's so much out there, and it's really cool to see a lot of the different properties getting put out there, just to see at the end of it what's good and what's not. So
yeah,
you got a lot to choose from, man. You don't need to go to Marvel or DC.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like with all this happening, Birthright cannot be far behind.
Yeah,
it's going to be picked up soon.
What's the other one? The one Redneck, I think, is going to be another one that ends up getting put out there at some, because people were really big into that.
Saga, everybody wants Saga.
That is never going to happen. But they
Walking Dead type show, I think.
They're never going to do it.
Don't say that.
I think Saga.
They wrote it in a way that it would be impossible to adapt it.
Maybe.
Oh look!
I think that
Stephen DeKnight is the showrunner for Jupiter's Legacy. He was the Daredevil showrunner, arguably the best of all of those. Sorry to interrupt. I just
ooh, Empress. I like it.
What's another Millar process?
Empress. Make Empress. I actually like that.
Reborn is another one
I liked. So, but I think that it's cool to see all this new stuff coming out, and I mean, just looking at everything that's out there now, that's not a Marvel or DC show, like Deadly Class. What I've been hearing is really good.
It's so good.
I've heard a lot about Umbrella Academy too.
I haven't watched that one yet.
I haven't watched either one. I think
Deadly Class. I watched the first 3 episodes. So good.
Yeah.
What I'm doing with Deadly Class is a little bit selfish, and what I'm doing is just letting the whole season go so I can sit down and binge it all, because I get kind of I think it's Game of Thrones that did it to me, that I just want to sit down and watch the whole thing rather than that, and being able to go on Netflix and be like, oh, new season of this is up, all right, boom, and just watch pretty much all through it and then not have to worry. So I'm actually waiting for Deadly Class to finish so I can sit there and just watch the whole season with no one.
Yeah. So I've heard with Umbrella Academy 2 different camps. Some people love it. Soundtrack is really cool. I definitely agree. And other people are disappointed by it. So the follow-up question is, did you read the books first, or have you not read the books?
I haven't read them. I've heard about them.
Yeah. Right. So it seems like the people who have not read the books, and Brian, be here, take the time collectibles, back me up on this. The people who have not read the stories seem to really enjoy it. The people who have seem to be disappointed because it deviated like too much. So, yeah, if you hear that or have that conversation, ask them that question. I'll be curious to kind of what their responses are. But it seems like that's kind of the way things are going.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Does Deadly Class do that? Does it go? Does it
it follows pretty close. Yeah,
it does follow close.
Yeah. It's even got like animated like comic shorts in it, you know, for like backstory type things. It's pretty cool. And there's always like comic work. Like in the first episode, he was saying something like this guy had a gun to the other guy's head, and he was like talking about X-Men. He was like, John Byrne and Chris Claremont, motherfucker, say it. It was really funny. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a cool show. Brian, I keep saying take the time collectibles. He says, I enjoyed Sharky and the Bounty Hunter. Mostly set up so far, cool art. So there you go.
Yeah, I flipped through it and I was just like, I flipped through it and I looked at it, and it seemed to me like that's another one that with time will end up on some sort of streaming service, because I just feel like they hyped it up a lot in this solicitation, and making it seem like it was going to end up being something that people are going to want to see more of, or see in a different platform. So we'll see.
What if Image gets big enough to where they can start having their own streaming channel?
Oh God, no. Yeah.
The tough part with that is the biggest properties for Image end up being something where they would end up being out to other places. Like you have, just because it's creator owned, really. It's just like there's nothing.
That's true.
They would all have their own option as to where they want to put it on. So maybe somebody wants to just do something on AMC. Maybe someone wants to do Netflix. Maybe someone wants to, what I mean?
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to do like an Image deal with someone,
Yeah. And their actual content ranges to where like the audience is so broad depending on the title,
So, I mean, honestly, one thing I would love to see them do, and this would be a great animated series, adult animated series as far as content. But I Hate Fairyland would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Series, I would love that.
And put that on what's that?
Get Scotty Young, because I know he's watching. Scotty Young, talk to some people. Get that out there. I want to see Gert in our own animated series.
Yeah, or Spawn kills everyone.
The chibi Spawn.
Yeah.
Chris hates Fairyland.
I love Fairyland.
So, all right. So, where we left off last week was Edwin actually bolstering up his eBay store, which is StrictlyComix with an X. Wanted to circle back with you and find out how that's been going.
Shoot, man, I got almost 200 items now.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, no, I'm sorry, 166. But it's growing daily. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's helping to pay the bills, and as soon as I hear of a hot book, I put it on eBay and it sells pretty quick.
Sweet. Cool.
I'm following at least 2 of your auctions.
You are.
Nice.
I mean, if you want some, just let me know, because I mean, my prices are like at retail or a little bit higher. That's just how I start out, and then I slowly drop the prices every couple weeks or every month.
He can probably knock a little bit off too if he can avoid the eBay fee.
Yeah, it's
right?
Yeah, it's just
Like, no.
It's not set in stone, my prices.
Yeah, negotiable. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so cool. We talked about this at the top of the show. Definitely, guys, check it out as soon as you can. But Mr. Exile over here has put up a haul video, so we're excited about that. We're peeping that out later tonight. So
I uploaded a video, y'all. I did it. I finally did it.
Yay!
So yeah, definitely check that out if you can, everybody. I really appreciate it. There's a shout out to someone in the chat in that video who gave me the idea to stop at a place that I would never have stopped to look for anything comic related. Found a whole bunch. So good stuff.
Nice. Sweet. Can we expect a Sunday morning comics in the near future, or is that still a little ways out?
I want to say yes.
Okay, I'll take that.
It's one of those things. It needs to be there. It needs to be there. So yeah.
How about a magic haul?
Magic all the time. We're doing some magic. Yeah, that was I guess the last one I came out with. I'm gonna be doing some like deck builds and things like that coming up, and probably playing some Magic Arena. So video games on my channel. Who knows? It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, get a little mix there. Seem to do pretty well. How-to videos.
Mm-hmm.
So like how to build a deck, how to play, how to this and that. Yeah.
True. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, cool.
I will say this for the how to build a deck. If you like elves and just in this skill to build an elf deck, you will have a very unstoppable deck that is extremely fast.
I don't play green.
Will destroy anybody.
He's blue and red, right?
Or red and something.
Okay.
How to tap your mana. That's right, Brian. How to tap your
sounds
mana.
dirty, Brian.
Now you want to make sure that you're turning your card a full 90 degrees. Actually, you get those people that turn it 45 degrees, man, and people flip out.
No,
doesn't count. Yeah.
Is that tapped or not?
Yeah. Just like that new CGC sticker. Not 45.
Oh, needs to be perfect. Hold on, I got my level.
Yeah.
Let me put it up here. Oh,
that's all right. So cool. Chris, putting up video soon, throwing up something?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've recorded one, so it's just getting it together and getting it up there, and then hopefully recording a couple more and putting those up as well. So like I said, I've been watching other people's stuff, just trying to get myself back to, as I'm trying to get the time to do my own, watching everybody else's stuff and just enjoying what I've been seeing. So not gonna lie, the inspiration is bubbling. I'm getting the bug again, so I'm looking forward to
getting
back out there and showing some stuff. So
that's the best way to watch other people's stuff.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. I just just the fun to see other people's collections and then just being like, okay, I want to show some of my stuff now. So and I do. I want to show everybody what I've been picking up and just trying to get it all organized and together and everything like that. So there'll be something up very soon.
I just remembered. I have this from our good friends at Last Ember Press. It's a Kickstarter.
I got mine.
Nice.
I haven't opened it up yet.
I haven't either. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to wait. I'll do a video.
There you go. Video number 2. Justin's going to open that box.
Keeping us in suspense. That's good. So cool. So I got some more like history type videos, voiceover videos to do. I'm going to a swap meet type thing over the weekend. So be checking that out, see what I find. Maybe do a kind of vlog style thing with it. Not sure yet. But yeah, there's that. So I did want to shout out a couple things. Obviously the people in the chat, Iron Galactus, Mr. Unknown, Take the Time Collectibles, Comics Misexplained. A whole ton of people have been through all through the night. Jackio, of course. The people who are here first Iron Galactus, of course. AG popped in. Collecting Hobbies was here for a while. If you're still here, shout out to you as well. Everybody that I missed, thank you for being here live with us. As I said at the beginning, we are live only Thursday nights on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, but you can listen to us anytime once the video is posted up as a on-demand replay, and the streaming version of this podcast audio, that is, will be available tomorrow. iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all those good places. So feel free to stream us there, and if you do, if you'd be so kind, go ahead and leave us a review. Definitely like that. Good, bad, whatever it is, we'd like the feedback. I think that's pretty much it. Check out comicbook.com. Justin puts up the list every Monday. So if you want to get the 411 on all the books coming out that week, that's your one-stop shop for all you need.
There's nothing worse than walking into the shop on Wednesday and just staring at all the books and not knowing if something's missing or not, because you didn't look at the list. You don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah. To get ahead in this game, you got to be prepared.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, cool. All right. Shout out to Tivo there. Cool. Coming in at the end there. Hope he's doing better. Shout out to him. I know that I won't get into his business, but hope he's doing okay over there on the left coast. So that's it for this episode, guys. We will be back next week, of course. Same time, same channel, same squad. And some new topics, though. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for being here. That's the Comic Conversation, and we will be back sometime. I don't know.
Sometime next week. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.